There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello BookTube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. This is another book on haul. If you don't know why I'm on hauling so many books, you can watch some of my earlier book hauls, but I moved into Canada and these are the ones I'm getting rid of. So let me start with three that I've already boxed up to send to a friend and I forgot to do my book on haul video beforehand. And they are I'll Go On. I think the author is Hwang Jungeun, something like that. Didn't like it, bailed. One Moonlight Night, I think Caradog, Prichard. Hated the ending. It's one of the most popular Welsh novels ever written. I didn't like the ending. The Vet's Daughter by Barbara Comyns. It's the one Barbara Comyns novel that I thought I would try before I decided that I absolutely hated everything that woman ever wrote, because I bailed on two others, but wasn't motivated enough to keep it. Brother by David Chariandy, a novella, Canadian novella about race and gender and all kinds of things that I'm interested in that I thought was a complete and utter flop, but lots of other people loved. Tea at 4 o'clock, I don't remember the author's name. One of the most beautiful covers that I've ever seen. Hated it, bailed. Those are the ones that I forgot to include that are already in a box taped up and ready to mail. The rest of them I have here, and let's look at those. No Knives in the Kitchens of This City by Khaled. Khalifa, a Syrian novel that I read a couple pages of, and that was more than enough. One American Robin by E.A. Mann. I was friendly with him. I don't remember how we met online. He sent me his novel. Sat on my shelf for a long time, never read it. I'm sure it's really good, but it's going out of the house. Remembered by Yae Won Battle Felton. I think it was nominated for the Women's Prize a couple years ago. I bought it at that time. It has not made it onto any Black History Month TBR that I've done in several years, so it's gone. This is the gorgeous hardcover copy of Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, and I started it as an audio text combo sometime last year. Absolutely loathed it. Jane Smiley's 1,000 Acres. Never got to it. This is a Canadian novel, Belleville Square by Michael Redhill, that I bought brand new on a return visit home to Canada years ago. Never got to it. Here is Where Reasons End by Yin Li, which I eagerly read after absolutely loving her Dear Friend from My Life, I Write to You in My Life, or whatever it is. One of the best books I've ever read, one of the most impactful reads of the last decade, and I loathe this with all my heart. Sexy opening scene, shitty novella. I read Dorothy Whipple's The Priory. It's a novel that I was quite underwhelmed by and hated the ending, but it's a novel that I've thought about frequently after 4 years out. But it's too bulky and ultimately just didn't care enough to pay what it's going to cost to move this across the ocean. Never mind how ugly Persephone books are, so I'm also offloading another Whipple novel that I never tried. They Knew Mr. Knight. Housemaid of Dawn by the Native American novelist N. Scott Momaday. Gorgeous writing, gorgeous nature writing. It's one of the coldest novels that I've ever tried to read. I got that far and I just couldn't connect with any of the people in the story, so I gave up. Three Faulkners. No thank you. 13 Secrets for Speaking Fluent Japanese. Who the fuck cares about speaking fluent Japanese? One of the most disappointing Canadian novels I've ever read. Sirius Blooms at Night by Shani Mutu. A gorgeous hardcover copy of The Sisters Brothers by the very eccentric Canadian novelist Patrick DeWitt. Didn't care and I never read it, never got to it. I can always buy another copy there or read it on ebook or audio. Japan, a bilingual guide. A Japan Atlas, a bilingual guide. I don't care about Japan anymore. Martin Amis times Arrow. Who the hell is Martin Amis? A novel bookstore by Laurence Cossé. This was a gift, and I think that there has not been one novel ever written about a bookstore, with the possible exception of Louise Erdrich's latest, that wasn't shit, and I'm assuming this one was too. Not that I tried it. Iris Murdoch. What the hell is this doing in my library? The Last Policeman by Ben H. Winters. A History of Loneliness by John Boyne. Like water for chocolate. Bleh. I mean, who cares? Here is a Japanese novel. Nice hardcover, written by somebody who's not Japanese. Need I say more about why I'm getting rid of it? Plum Wine by this person, Angela Davis-Gardner. Graham Greene, The Quiet American. I had aspirations of reading it someday, and I still might, but this copy's going. Muriel Spark, I'm done with Muriel. The Bachelors, never tried it. This also was a gift, and I will keep the lovely bookmark. The Orenda by Joseph Boyden, who has become quite a problematic author, and I'm not sure that I agree with all that problematization, but I think I probably agree with most of it, and for that reason and the fact that it's a really bulky book that I could easily get at a Canadian library, I'm getting rid of the Orenda. And Roland Barthes, Empire of Signs. It's one of the few things the man ever wrote that was kind of interesting. I read a couple essays out of this, but Japan is off my radar. And that is that.